I know the title of my video is strange. How gay is the new Charlie's Angels movie? Well, my major complaint is, it's not gay enough. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's EJ Marino and this is About Last Night, the show where I talk about the movie I saw last night. We are diving into a brand new review. Yes, we are talking about 2019's Charlie's Angels. It feels like it has been quite some time since we had a new Charlie's Angels movie. I'm honestly a big fan of those early 2000s movies. You know, the one with Lucy Liu, My Girl Drew, and Cameron D? Yeah, those were really fun, entertaining, schlocky, campy movies. Now, this new Charlie's Angels is still a little bit campy, it's still schlocky, it knows exactly what it's making, it knows exactly who it's for, women and gay men, and they achieve that goal at the barest minimum. I think it hits just the right amount of, oh, this was good, oh, it was campy, oh, this was super scandalous, but not enough. I wanted this movie to go that extra mile. I wanted it to be just this crazy, outlandish, over-the-top experience, and at times this movie took itself a little too seriously. At times it didn't take itself seriously enough. It's a fine line to walk in between making a high camp kind of movie, trying to find that balance of being completely over the top but understanding your tone and being mature about it. This movie has an issue with trying to find that balance. Sometimes it is way too over the top and funny. Sometimes it takes itself way too seriously. If it could have found that balance in the middle, this would have been way more entertaining. That's not to say I did not enjoy this new film. The new Charlie's Angels movie, directed by Elizabeth Banks, has moments that I genuinely enjoy. Most of them involve Kristen Stewart, who I think is a scene stealer in this movie. She's a big part of what I think makes this great. Her and Patrick Stewart are the two actors that know exactly the movie I want. At separate times, both of them as actors are delivering just wacky, weird performances, but are still sticking true to what makes Charlie's Angels so good, and I really enjoy that. I enjoy some of the action scenes in this movie. I enjoy the world building for Charlie's Angels. If you've been a big fan of this from the 70s to the 2000s, we got to see a lot more of the bases, a lot more of the organization, what the whole Townsend agency has to it. I enjoyed that. But there's some major script issues with some of the secondary characters. The villain is so predictable. The whole evil tech plot, it's been there, done that territory. But I really can't fault that too much because that's kind of the standard. I mean, Hobbs and Shaw did this eco-friendly villain, and that's been done to hell. So they're doing typical action movie stuff, but I expected a little bit more. If this had a better script, I think Elizabeth Banks could have directed this out of the, she could have knocked it out of the park, but she gets a script, and she can only elevate it slightly. For decades, the Charlie's Angels franchise has been basically made for the LGBT community and for women, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is a pure thing that, they know their demographic, they know who they're appealing to. I just don't think they hit their demographic enough. There's not enough shirtless men in this movie. There's not a lot of, costume changes. There's a cute scene in, a big closet, and then they go to the gun closet, which was cool. There's some good outfits in here, especially this one sweater Kristen Stewart's wearing that I was in love with. But over the time, I was just kind of you're not hitting the marks that I think you should. Now, this doesn't need to be Showgirls level of over-the-top, campy ridiculousness, but it could have found a little bit more to just kind of hit the little boat, the moments that I needed. I needed, like I said, shirtless men, these crazy costumes, these big actiony set pieces that are still fabulous. I will say, give them credit. They have some nitty-gritty action scenes, and they have a murder in this movie, a straight-up death, a few deaths actually, that were just that was violent. I mean, literally someone gets impaled through the chest, and the Angels are making fun of that moment. It has its moments. Again, I don't think this completely misses the mark. I just think they could have upped it a little bit. They went to to an 8 on the level of campy gayness. They could have went to a 10. They could have had, I mean, I won't spoil too much, but they didn't have any Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, or Drew Barrymore cameos, and that would have been great. Now, there's another Angel cameo that is pretty good in the movie, but those are those little moments that I think they could have had a camp classic, or at least something the franchise or the fan base could have had for like years. This could have been the new second coming of it, and now I think this is a okay continuation, but not the new like era that I was hoping it would usher in. The three women that are the new faces of the Charlie's Angels franchise are Naomi Scott, Kristen Stewart, and Ella Balinska. I know I'm pronouncing her last name wrong. I am sorry. I'm really bad with names, but she is good. Naomi Scott is okay, but Kristen Stewart is amazing. She's a little bit of that like cute kind of tech girl, but she's also the weird ditzy character, but she's also the badass fighter. She's a lot in this movie. Actually, I think all three characters are pretty well rounded. They're not just the like, well, that's the hot one, that's the ditz, that's the nerd. They're actually all well rounded and fleshed out characters, and I love it. I mean, they're not the most developed like characters I've seen in all of movies ever, but they're three-dimensional at least. I get the personalities of all three women, and they do a great job. Now, I could see them having more fun. I can see them continuing this on with these three women, but I will say I would like Naomi Scott just to up it up a little bit. I know it's her character that was supposed to be a little bit of a fish out of water, but she didn't have as much chemistry with the other two that I was hoping for. Actually, I do think the chemistry between all three women isn't there exactly. I think that's coming off the original 70s film and the one in the 2000s. Those three women just bonded and just felt like a real team. This didn't feel like a real team, and I know that's kind of like a slight plot of this movie, but as a viewer, it lacked that chemistry that I wanted from these three. I love seeing these angels work together, and they really didn't have a really big scene of those three. I mean, we don't get any moments where we can have the cool little pose and all that. That was missing. So there's a lack of teamwork in this movie that I wish could have been just tweaked a little bit, but all three women, like I said, do a great job. Elizabeth Banks as a version of Bosley. There's a lot of Bosleys. We have Patrick Stewart playing a Bosley. There's like Michael Strahan and a TV. There's like Djimon Hounsou. There's a lot of Bosleys, which is cool. Elizabeth Banks does well in her role. She's a big part of this movie. I like her. She's also the director. She does well. It's mostly about the three angels. I just wish it was a little bit better, but this movie also runs a little too long, so I don't know where I would have added in more character moments of building them. I maybe like trim some of like the, ooh, here's the spy stuff. Just trim that up a little bit to give me some more character development, because this movie could have used a little bit more character development, but it did not need more to the runtime. This needed to be 20 minutes shorter. I don't know where I would have cut them off. Like I said, maybe trim up some scenes, but yes, this movie lacked character development, but I didn't want more of this movie, so I'm in a pickle there. Overall, I had a good time with Charlie's Angels. Like I said, this isn't going to reinvent the wheel. It's not the best movie I've seen all year, but I had a good time with it, and I think the original fan base, those women who love it, the gay community who love it, will find something to enjoy in this movie. But like I said, it's not reinventing the wheel. You're not going to be like, best movie of the year, but it's a good, fun action movie. I liked it more than Hobbs and Shaw, I'll admit that. But yeah, that is my review for Charlie's Angels 2019. What did you think of this review? What do you think of this movie? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I make videos like this every single week, and give me a thumbs up because YouTube takes those way too seriously. Alright guys, let's talk about Charlie's Angels below.